and would like to specially greet Mrs. Nosa Igenhon Okunbo. We can keep the applause is coming. Mrs. Evelyn Okunbo, Miss Deborah Okunbo, Oloria Tuashe III, Dr. Sahon Okunbo.
We'd also recognize, please permit us to mention each of them, because the greatest legacy of a man's life are the children and grandchildren that is left behind. And so we'd like to mention each one of them this afternoon as we respectfully thank them very much for honoring the memory of their father in such a great manner. And so we continue by recognizing Mrs. Adesua Rhodes, Miss Omosede Okunbo, Miss Osariemen Okunbo, Miss Osaro Okunbo, and permit me please to just continue and not offend anyone by leaving out the titles and going on with Og Okunbo, Esohe Okunbo, Nosa Okunbo, Brian Okunbo, and of course Ryan Okunbo.
Yeah, so Ayo is Delta by marriage, so some of the names might be failing. If I'm failing some of these, but we forgive you. I forgive you.
I'm a proud Delta wife, and I think, for Benin Kingdom, my mom is from Edo State, even if it's not from Benin exactly. So really delighted to be here in the midst of family members.
Fantastic. Again, from the Okunbo family, we'd like to specially greet Kingsley Okunbo, Deaconess Edith Onwu Eguzie, Morrison Ogunbo, Dandison Okunbo, as well as Bright Okunbo. We greet you all very specially.
I believe that your applause would be louder if you knew just how much Captain Hosa honored, recognized, thought about family. It was wonderful for him to be able to see his family surround his table, and so they are perhaps the greatest legacy and of course people seated in this hall this afternoon. So one more time, if we would not trouble you too much, can we really celebrate and recognize Captain Hosa's most beautiful gifts and treasures, his family members.
Fantastic. All right, we have set the tone. We want to get into the meat of it. We have a lecture. We have a couple of goodwill messages. We'll have a panel session. I'm looking forward to the keynote address from Her Excellency, the former President of the Republic of Liberia. But there's so much today, and it will not be sufficient, really, to honor and to celebrate the life of a great man. Indeed.
Now, to give us the remarks this afternoon, I'm delighted, honored to bring on stage a man who had said that on the passing of his dearly beloved father, he had been told that he had very big shoes to fill. And you can understand the weight of that responsibility on any human being. Talk more of a man who had just lost perhaps his greatest, most significant influence. But I dare say that today, if you look around and look at the legacy of Captain Hosa, he has done excellently well alongside his siblings. Distinguished guests, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, please let's make very welcome Captain Hosa's son, Dr. Osahon Okunbo. Please let's sustain the applause until he gets on stage. We celebrate him.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to apologize. I've got a bit of a dry throat, so you're going to have to deal with it for the next. Okay. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, family, good afternoon, and thank you all for being here with us today. First of all, I'd like to thank God, the Lord God Almighty, for a day like this. Lord Jesus Christ is the bedrock of this family, and without Him, this would not be possible. So all glory goes to Him. Thank you, Jesus. On behalf of my family, it's my privilege to welcome you all to lecture on legacy and leadership, held in honor of our father, husband, brother, and friend, Captain Dr. Idahosa Okunbo. We're especially honored to welcome Her Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former President of the Republic of Liberia, and Africa's first elected female president. Thank you very much for being here. Your Excellency, you have spent so much of your life in public service and had to make difficult decisions in difficult times. That gives particular meaning to your presence at a gathering devoted to leadership and legacy. We are deeply grateful that you accepted this invitation. Thank you very much. I think we have enough experts on the subject of leadership present here, so I'll just say a few words about the other word we have chosen to speak about, legacy. Most times we use legacy to mean what a man leaves behind. And while that is true, most times we use legacy to leave what a man leaves behind. And while that is true, I want to focus on another part of what it means, the part that sometimes is overlooked. The word legatus, which is from the verb legare, which means to send with a task or a message. The legatus was not an heir waiting to inherit. He was an envoy, one sent to carry another's commission on their behalf. So perhaps legacy has less to do with what you're left with and more to do with what you're sent to do. Which changes the question. The question isn't simply, what did our Father leave us? It is, what did he send us out to do? And on that, he was not vague. He wanted us to keep this family together. He said it plainly, he said it often, and he continually arranged his life around it. For years, I understood and heard this as sentiment. A father wanting all of his children to be close to one another. But over the years, I've come to realize its true meaning. It's not just sentiment, it's power. Because here is what an envoy knows and an heir does not. An heir owns his portion, he can take it and go. But an envoy carries a mandate. And a mandate that is strong as a delegation that carries it. You split the delegation, and very quickly, it doesn't matter what is written on paper. Authority, recognition, property, and all the things we claim to have a right to quickly diminish. My father understood that. And everything he built rested ultimately on whether the people he left behind could still sit together. So he didn't just simply leave us a legacy, he sent us out with one. And the commission was each other. Now let me be honest about how that has gone over the past 5 years. Everyone in this room knows what it can be when a family loses a patriarch. A family will be together on the funeral day, and almost a year, maybe two later, unrecognizable. I will not stand here and tell you that the tests didn't come, because they did. There were difficult times, difficult conversations that were hard to sit through and hard to have. There were moments when we would have been easier for people to walk away from each other, and everyone in this family knows it, but nobody did. Not because we are better than anyone else, not because we are wiser, not because any one of us is more important than the other. We're still here keep choosing, and every day we keep choosing to be together. Say what I mean by unity. unity. A lot of people just in agreement. In a family of this size, that's probably more impossible than it is possible. Of course, we disagree. Unity is deciding that disagreement doesn't put an end to the mission or the task ahead of us. And in this, I'll have to commend my entire family. Everyone has played their part. Everyone has made their own sacrifice. To it. He said it's impossible for anyone to beat their chest. You can only do it with all your fingers together. So let me say it plainly, what I understand now that I did not understand 5 years ago. Unity is not about protecting our father's legacy. Unity is our father's legacy. The companies, the institutions, the infrastructure, the properties, those are just the evidence. Responsibility to keep choosing it. As we begin today's conversation on legacy and to carry forward. Thank you, and once again, welcome.
You know, Dr. Osahan spoke like a wise old man, like a wise sage. I love, it's impossible to beat your chest with one finger. Unity is not about protecting his legacy. Unity is his legacy. Osahan also cast himself not just as an heir, but as an envoy, carrying a mandate only as strong as the delegation behind it. I think we need to celebrate that one more time. That was powerful.
Fantastically well said. So, Oluwaseunpi, we cannot deny something very obvious. I believe that Dr. Osahan did not only inherit a very deep baritone voice, he's also inherited this year when he was given the Vanguard Young Entrepreneur of the Year, when just a few years before, some years before, his dad had also stood on that stage as a Vanguard Businessman of the Year. So in many ways and in many regards, he has been able to not just walk the shoes, but I believe by God's grace, he would even surpass it in Jesus' name. Now, talking about that, just to say as well, talking about unity, I recall Olori Atuwashi III's speech at her father's homegoing ceremony, where she talked about the 12 stripes of captains, coats of many colors. And today has just demonstrated that she wasn't just prophetic, it has come to pass. We see the beautiful, beautiful work of art that Captain Hosa has left with his 12 stripes coming together to make a beautiful outfit.
Can we just celebrate that unity with another round of applause? Beautiful. All right, we're moving on, but would like to specially greet, as we assured you, a lot of dignitaries have walked in the room. We will make it a rolling recognition, so please permit us if we maybe leave out one or two names at some point, but we would attempt to catch up before the night is done.
Whilst the opening remarks was going on, we're delighted to receive the presence of Her Excellency Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, the First Lady of Ogun State. You're most welcome, ma'am.
You're very welcome, madam. We want to draw your attention to the screen. We have a tribute film to show you this afternoon.
There's a home in the sky, far above the big blue horizon, where you continue to fly, a place where your spirit never dies. This isn't farewell, I'll see you again. 'Cause good men never die. No. How do I start to tell the world your story? How do I write this beautiful journey? Yeah. Words are not enough. There's no time at all. But this isn't farewell, I'll see you again. Tears may fall, I know you're with God, I know it is well. I'll dry my eyes, I'll remember your smile, I know it is well. You gave your all, and you answered the call. I know it is well. This isn't farewell. I'll see you again. Tears may fall, I know you're with God, I know it is well. I'll dry my eyes, I'll remember your smile, I know it is well. Captain gave your all, and you answered the call, and I know it is well. So this isn't farewell. I know I'll see you again. Hope I never die.
Captain lives on forever. Captain lives on forever. Captain lives on forever. Captain.
Yes, yes, a round of applause is in order.
Indeed, Captain lives on forever. A good man never dies. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to at this point introduce, to progress today's lecture further, one of Captain Hosa's great legacies and treasures, a businesswoman, successful businesswoman in her own right, the founder, managing partner at Arua Financial Management Company, and a woman who would be speaking today to introduce the next item on the agenda. But before we invite the founder of Aurora Capital Management, I'd like to invite, as we go straight to the main course of today's event, a woman that is well respected, a woman who has continued to make her mark not just on the Nigerian soil but across the African continent, a woman whose name definitely speaks and goes ahead of her as a prophetic word from her father himself. She is the Queen Consort of the Warri Kingdom, Olori Atuwase III, founder of Elevate Africa, a mother indeed, and a woman who has definitely enlarged the shoes of her father. I recall that from 5 years ago, Olori has spoken about the influence that her father had on her life and continues to have on her life. And we're delighted and honored to bring her up on stage at this point. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we know we love her. We celebrate her. We are proud of her. She's excellence walking. Can we please celebrate Olori Atuwase III?
Okay, yes, I'm good. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Wow, what a full house. Her Excellency, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former President of the Republic of Liberia and our distinguished lecturer, Her Excellency Bamidele Abiodun, First Lady of Ogun State, Auntie, as I'm used to, I call you. It's very hard to call you. It's very hard to speak. Distinguished chiefs of the Warri Kingdom, Oje Baba Bokiao, Ado, Airubo, Your Excellencies here present, distinguished members of the Diplomatic Corps, our esteemed panelists, captains of industry, and friends, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. 5 years ago, on a day much like this, heaven gained a giant, Captain Idahosa Wells Okunbo. And like my brother rightly said, we, his children, inherited a charge to live lives worthy of the name that he gave us. Today is not a day of mourning, it's a day of thanksgiving for the life and the legacy of a father, a husband, and a brother, and for God's faithfulness through the last 5 years, which carried us through the darkest of nights into a morning like this. Our father believed that leadership was not a title, but a trust. That the true measure of a leader is not in what they gather, but in what they build, in institutions and in the people that they impact. So when we asked ourselves today who could stand before you and speak on the responsibility of leadership, one name rose above many others. She needs no introduction, but a daughter honoring her father does not miss the chance to give one. Our lecturer today made history as Africa's first elected female head of state, serving as the President of the Republic of Liberia from 2006 to 2018. She took the reins of a nation broken by 14 years of civil war, and with steady hands and an unbending will, she rebuilt it. She restored institutions, she revived an economy, and she returned hope to her people. The world took notice because in 2011, she was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for her nonviolent struggle. Yes, please, keep the applause coming. She was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for her nonviolent struggle for the safety of women and for women's right to full participation in peace building. In 2018, she received the Ibrahim Prize for Achievement in African Leadership, an honor reserved for those rare leaders who not only serve well, but more importantly, who leave well. Your Excellency, we celebrate you today not only because you became Africa's first democratically elected female president, but because you chose to spend your post-presidency building other women. That is true legacy. They call her the Iron Lady of Africa. Her story, know that her iron was forged in the fire. in imprisonment, in exile, in defeat that refused to become surrender. She is proof of what our Father has taught us, that character is revealed in adversity and that legacy is built in obedience to purpose. Just yesterday evening, I had the honor of sitting with her and hearing pieces of her story firsthand and receiving wonderful counsel that I will carry for the rest of my life. And that is the kind of woman she is. She doesn't just lecture on leadership, she lives it. She gives it freely to those that are willing to receive it. Your Excellency, you demonstrated that leadership is not just determined by gender, but by character. And so we thank you that you traveled all the way to be here in Lagos with us today is an honor to our Father, which I believe that you understood him and you knew him in spirit, a man of enterprise, of nation building, and of unshakable faith, but is a gift to our family that we will never forget. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join me in welcoming a mother of nations, a mender of broken places, and a living lecture to the very theme of this gathering, Her Excellency, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. And please keep the applause coming until she comes.
Good afternoon. Please sit down. I don't believe His Excellency is here, but let me recognize whoever is representing him. To His Majesty, the Olu of Warri. Thank you very much. Her Majesty, the Olori Atuwatsi Queen Consort of the Warri Kingdom, whose gracious invitation and who just introduced me to stand here. I need a clapping that's a bit more than what you did. Thank you. Members of the royal family and the beloved family of the late Captain Idahosa Wells Okunbo. Your Excellency, the First Lady of Ogun State just came. Thank you for being here. Royal fathers and traditional rulers here present, distinguished leaders of government, business, and civil society, young people of Nigeria and of Africa, for whom, above all, this lecture is intended. I particularly greet you all and am so pleased to be here on this momentous occasion. 5 years ago, on this very day, 8th of August, Africa lost a son whose life had touched thousands of others. That we gather today, this Thursday, we do so as an act of devotion. And we have come, we think, to celebrate his legacy. But we listen to his son, who said, not so much to celebrate his legacy, because his life is legacy. Your Majesty, when your letter reached me, I was moved not only by the invitation, but by its spirit. You honor your father's memory, not with monuments alone, but with his mission. Monuments tell us where a great man rests. Mission tell us where he is going. And it is clear that Captain Okunbo was going somewhere, and his family carries this on. You shared with me your father's creed, and I want to repeat it because it deserves to be spoken aloud. Leadership is measured not by the power one holds, but by the lives one lives, in the realization that power, when it lacks the ability to influence and the desire to do so, it then falls short of a greater good. Captain Hosu ensured that his life lifted the many of you in this room, the hundreds and thousands around this country, and others far beyond. Mine own life has taught me the results of those words, the words about doing something that's a greater good. I held the highest office in my country, one that was bestowed upon me by women, I might add. And I became the first woman on this continent elected to do so. And I can say emphatically when this office is gone and the titles are gone, what remains is what you have built in other people. Africa has never lacked powerful men. When Africa needs, what Africa needs are leaders who use power for the greater good of humanity. Captain Okunbo set the example. He used his life to ensure that others moved forward. And this brings me to legacy, the second word in the title of this lecture, and the harder one. When I wrote to this family, I said that the most meaningful act of living outlasts the giver. Today, I stand in the proof of this. I now have read and seen through the photos the example of this. 5 years after his passing, Captain Okunbo is still giving. He gives through the institutions he built. He gives through the young people he educated, who are now educating others. And he gives most of all through a daughter and a son who now set the example to ensure, as he wanted, that his life carries on. Your Majesty, permit me to speak of you, though I'm sure in your modesty you are best. But as I stand here, I have the microphone. Through the Royal Iweri Foundation and the Establish Her Entrepreneurship Academy, you have taken your father's creed I will stop for a moment and fix this so it does not retain my statement. Your Majesty, you have taken your father's creed and directed it toward empowering the women and girls of this kingdom and this nation. Your steadfast commitment to fostering leadership among women reflects a profound understanding of the transformative power within them, that lied within your father. In carrying out his wishes, you embody the principle that I have held dear throughout my own life. When you build a woman, you build a family, a community, a nation, and the world. The ripple effects of your work are profound, creating a legacy that will benefit generations to come. I have witnessed how inventing and investing in women leads to stronger economies, healthier societies, aligning with the vision that I have had, aligning why in my post-presidency I decided that I would spend the rest of my life ensuring that women had the opportunity to serve, that women, I know I would never have the power to make it happen, but I know, like Captain Okunbo, I will work with others so that they, in their numbers, will make it happen. And this is why I founded the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Presidential Center for Women and Development. In our fight for gender equity and empowerment, your contribution, Your Majesty, sets a shining example for how we can effect change from the grassroots level when the work of others, your work, empowers women to take their rightful place as leaders, innovators, and change makers, reinforcing our shared value that the future of our continent indeed is going to be female. That doesn't bring large claps. But the record stands. When women are empowered, women empower others. And may I add, empowers both women and men. It is through championship like that that we continue to inspire young women to dream big, to equip them with tools necessary to turn their dreams into reality. So, Your Majesty, as the legacy shows, honor the memory of Captain Okunbo today. We also celebrate your leadership and the leadership of all the members of your family as you stand together to build pathways for others to thrive, to ensure that those other voices are heard, that their contributions are recognized as vital to our collective purpose. That is the legacy that Captain Okunbo left. That's why his life is considered legacy. On the same conviction that the EHS Center for Women and Development stands, we exist for one purpose: to change the face of leadership in Africa by recognizing, supporting, and connecting the women who have the abilities, who have demonstrated in so many ways the abilities to lead. Through our Amuje initiative, we walk alongside outstanding women leaders from across the continent. Women who are prepared without apology to make advances in leadership, in public service, as well as in the corporate world. We make no apology for them as they head for the highest offices in the land. Those Amuje leaders, Amuje, one of our local languages, that means going up. Among those wonderful, dynamic women who have already established themselves in areas, happen to be in this room. May we recognize you, please? Thank you. I don't have to say any more. I think just looking at them, knowing who they are, what they do, what they represent, says it all. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for standing. In our dear country, we have established what we hope will turn dream into reality. In a place where women will have a place to convene, a place to discuss their strategy, a place to look at their experiences. We call it the Musieja. Again, in one of our languages, the African Women House. And we hope that through there, we will look at these dynamic women and what they represent, how they, in their areas of work, in their areas of relationships, they manage, they lead to make a difference in how women are positioned in all aspects of leadership in our nation and in the world. Now, let me speak to the young people of this room. Because in truth, this lecture, the legacy we speak about, the legacy of Captain Okunbo, rests with you. I recently joined the Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya when she launched her book entitled Courting Courage. And as she spoke about her life, carried in so many ways are the words she put in her book. When she talked about the victories and the pitfalls, the successes and the failures. And I was asked to respond, to say something that carried her life story in words. Let me share with you those reflections. And these words are generally used in our own exchanges and talks. These dynamic women themselves, and when I sit with them separately or collectively, and we try to look at those things where we want to see, those places we want to go, and how we want to be seen in what we do. We talk first the power of purpose. Purpose. What do you want to do? What is your goal? What do you expect years from now when you have applied your knowledge? Young people, one of the greatest lessons is that purpose, the right purpose, gives ordinary people the strength to do extraordinary things. The joining that us all take with a clear purpose is to keep moving forward, recognizing that ultimate goal that we have put ourselves on a journey to achieve. Purpose becomes a compass, a moment of uncertainty. It gives you what it takes. The formidable determination for achieving that which you have identified as your goal is what transforms obstacles into opportunities for growth and for service. As you build your future, do not measure success only by wealth, stature, or recognition. Instead, ask yourself, what problem am I called to solve? What life can I improve? What legacy do I want to leave behind? When you live your life anchored in your purpose, you gain the resilience to keep moving on, the confidence to stand for what is right, even when it's difficult times to do so. Your commitment, young people, is to be driven by the sense of service, not ambition. That's what public service is all about. Being able, through your achievement, lifting the lives of others in what you do, in what you say, in the values that you stand. A second power is the power of knowledge. And when we speak about knowledge, We're not necessarily talking that you've gone to a university and earned a PhD. As important as that may be for your work, when we talk about knowledge, we talk about skill development. We speak of what you learn from working with others. We speak for your ability to share with others those things that you have experienced. You also take from them their examples, their successes, their obstacles. Knowledge comes not only from being a good educator, being a good student, or a good knowledge, or a good student, or a good reader, a good professor. Knowledge sometimes comes when you walk the streets, you see others, and you talk to them, and you listen to what lives are all about. What are some of their aspirations that they're unable to fulfill? What are some of the difficulties that they face? Your knowledge is expanded by that. Surrounded by the life you have in learning from others and being able to share what you have so that you leave them with a bit more knowledge. Third, the power of cooperation. Sometimes we get so filled with our own abilities and our success, and we forget one basic thing. No matter who you are, no matter what you seek to do, that purpose that I talk about, you cannot do it alone. You need those who have shared values, shared principles, those whom you will be able to work with in the achievement of common goals. And that power of cooperation enables you to learn more from the lives of others. The lives of Captain Okunbo and the things he's done, the successes he has, and the fact that he's done so not alone. As important as he was, as independent as he was, he reached out and he passed that very value to all of you. His family, his immediate family, as well as his larger family, so that the legacy that he left, the legacy of his life, you will by being able to reach out to others in a cooperative way, can also have those who work with you, who speak with you, who stay with you through all the difficulties, to be able to achieve the goals, the common goals of family, the common goals of nation, common goals of the world. The next one I think we ought to think about is the power of truth. Oh my goodness. It's so hard in these days with the complexities of the global environment and listening to some of the big powers about whether we're hearing the truth. Do we see the evidence of all the things that we hear? Do we know whether what we hear through the media, through the Facebook, and all of those part of media, through the new powerful AI, artificial intelligence, truth must be a moral compass in turbulent times. Through my journey, I learned that speaking truth to power is not merely a noble endeavor, it is essential for fostering transparency and building legitimacy in governance. My tenure as president, I faced moments of immense challenge addressing social injustices. Many times, I had to take decisions that I knew would have the effect of hurting others. Decisions that would not be well accepted by colleagues, by the powers, by authorities, and many times by the people I love. Yet, confronting uncomfortable realities, such as corruption, such as injustices, is difficult, but every leader must be prepared to face that. And the power of transparency is one that emerges in whatever you do. And the impact you make by the difference you show. Stand up for truth. In those moments, you know that by doing so, you face formidable combats and pushbacks. Ability to stand strong in the midst of that, because there is no greater power than being able to say the truth, to say who you are, what you stand for, what is your purpose and what is your goal. Let's next talk about power of determination. I call that the genesis of self-confidence. The unwavering resolve that you are prepared to take challenges. You are prepared to face setbacks. You are prepared to transform obstacles into opportunities. You are able to hold firm in your journey toward the achievement of your purpose. I believe all historic leaders, like Captain Okunbo, face many daunting challenges, but they embrace their struggle, determined on the basis of their own self-commitment to turn their legacies into paved pathways for others to follow. That determination, that self-confidence is about believing that the impossible is possible, that you can dream, and a dream, a big dream, can become a reality. It is the strength to be who you are, to stand firm, to show strength when there's criticism, and when there are remarks, and when there's disappointment. To stand for truth, as I said. Stand for the purpose of your vision, even when the odds are against you, even when the obstacles seem formidable. The ability to be who you are, to be yourself, to be you, always gives you the courage and the determination to forge ahead toward the achievement of your goals. We also need the power of faith. That's not something that we usually talk about, or we usually exchange experiences about. Faith, that deep-seated conviction that change is possible, along with the courage to do what you have to do when the odds seem so difficult that you have to rely on faith. Faith that is positive. Faith that enables you to keep your determination to move toward your goal. Throughout my journey, when I have faced difficulties, when I looked around, it seemed to work, and I didn't know it that way. I could always turn to the powers of prayer, the powers of faith, your ability to know that if you've done the right thing in your life, if you lived a good life, that faith is grounded in how you have lived. And so when individuals are given the opportunity in their politics, their opportunities, their difficulties, when women, like so many of you, are breaking barriers, when entrepreneurs are innovating in, communities are searching for justice, there comes a time when that faith in yourself, your beliefs, your value, your principle, faith that you can win because you have devoted your time to carrying out a mission of purpose that leads to the better lives of others. Let us nurture faith within ourselves and our communities, because it reminds us that each small step taken in faith brings us closer to our goals. Together, with unshakable faith in our potential and in our self-confidence to succeed, we are able to see the transformation that we seek. Let us therefore use these powers, not as abstracts, but as practices. Demands accountability. Knowledge demands learning. Cooperation demands humility. Truth demands courage. Determination leads to resilience. And faith provides perseverance. As a leader, we all sometimes fall short. But I believe that when you believe in yourself and you believe in the values by which you live, there is nothing that can confront you that you're unable to respond to. And so I say to you, to those who lead now and to those who will hold fast to your purpose and knowledge relentlessly, build bridges where there are walls. Speak the truth, even when it costs you. Carry your faith in the possibility of a better realization of a tomorrow that will respect you. If we do this, we strengthen our institutions. We heal discords and divisions. We try. And most times, we achieve if dignity. Dignity for ourselves and dignity for others. Be ambitious. That's special to the young people. Africa needs you. And Africa has no small dreams. I said when I spoke at a commencement for Harvard University, if your dreams do not scare you, they're simply not good enough. Dream big. And when you rise, You will remember how the others were with you. You will remember what you had to go through and how you were able to rise. That no matter what you do, you are you. You brought it on or not. But just think what failure does for you. It gives you that opportunity to recalibrate, to re-strategize, to reset, to re-examine, to replan. Awaits each one who has a very clear purpose about what you want to be and will achieve that far-reaching amphitheater that gives knowledge. When you have the self-confidence to be you, when you have the courage to say what you want to say, to accept when you are wrong, and to stand fast when you are right. When you know that when all things fail, the faith of your fathers and of your mothers will be there. And your reliance on who you are and what you've done will be that will be remembered. And that will carry you and the others with whom you've worked and lived. That is the legacy of Captain.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think that deserves a standing ovation. We're going to ask Her Excellency to remain as we invite the family to take her.
May we please invite the children of Captain Idahosa Okunbo to please kindly take a picture with President Ellen Sirleaf Johnson, former president of Liberia. Can we please invite the children of Captain Idahosa to kindly come forward for a group picture with our keynote speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just listened to a lecture of over 50 minutes from a former president who turns 88 in 2 months. You heard that right. She turns 88. And that was a masterclass on the power of purpose, on truth as a moral compass, the power of cooperation, faith in yourself. She demonstrated that she has real passion for young people.
Absolutely.
Especially empowering young women and giving them the tools to thrive in society. And we dare say that if you do that, if you successfully empower young women, that's a faster route to transforming society.
Indeed, Oluwaseun, her life is an example of possibilities that exist for young women in Nigeria and the African continent, and I dare say the rest of the world. I
also love that she said that as you build your future, your success only by wealth, stature, recognition. Instead, ask yourself, what problem am I called to solve? What life can I improve? And one of the parts that really captured me was when she said, lower your gaze to the man on the street, to the ordinary person, and gain knowledge from them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Oluwaseun. Straight after the pictures with the children, would like to invite His Excellency
Pay attention to the lecture.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Oluwaseun. All right, we'd like to thank you very much. Can we please give another round of applause for Her Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for that brilliant keynote address. Many gems and nuggets as Oluwaseun has just recapped some of the high points of her lecture. Again, if we could please crave your indulgence, can we honor her with a round of applause until she takes her seat? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that right after this lecture, we're going to have a reception and a party. And so a lot of the pleasantries, a lot of the celebration we are reserving for the second half of today's event. At this point, we want to have a very reflective time as we reflect on the memory of the late Captain Idahosa and have conversation like the one we just had on leadership, on building institutions and preserving legacy. So if we crave your indulgence to please take your seats as we continue with today's lecture.
Thank you very much. Now, before we proceed with today's lecture, please permit us to recognize some more dignitaries who've come into the hall whilst the lecture, the keynote address was going on. And so, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we had the honor of receiving the presence of the Governor of Ogun State, His Excellency, Prince Dr. Dapo Abiodun, CON. Thank you so much, sir, for coming this afternoon.
Would also like to recognize the presence of His Excellency Dennis Idahosa, the Deputy Governor of Edo State. Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa, we greet you, sir. We can give that round of applause to the Deputy Governor of Edo State. We also have members of the executive, the State Executive of Edo State here. We recognize you and we greet you all specially.
And of course, Oluwaseun, we know that Captain Hosa himself was a proud son of the soil of Edo State, and so we're delighted to have a good contingent from the state. Talking about contingent, we also have with us the comrade for life, Senator Adams Oshiomhole, His Excellency, former governor of Edo State, and now sitting senator representing Edo North Senatorial District. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for coming to honor the memory of Captain Hosa.
We are also delighted to have with us a former governor as well, and Senator, His Excellency Senator Ali Modu Sheriff. You're very welcome, sir. We also have Senator Domingo Obende here with us. We greet you and we welcome you.
I'd like to also recognize the presence of Senator Ahmed Wadada Aliyu, a good friend of Captain Hosa. We're most grateful that you've come this afternoon. We also have with us here Honorable Razak Bello Osage, former member of the House of Representatives. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. Here with us as well, a good friend of the family, Honorable the Federal Minister of Labor and Employment in the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we said in the beginning, we have a lot of very distinguished Nigerians in the room who are celebrating Captain Hosa today. If we took our time to recognize you all individually, we will do absolutely nothing else. So please bear with us as we continue with these recognitions as the day goes on. And if we leave out one or two names, we will do well to give you the honor that you deserve.
We also have present with us the Crown Prince of the ancient Benin Kingdom, Okonokwa of Benin Kingdom, Prince Ezelokwaye Eware. A round of applause, please, for His Highness, Prince Ezelokwaye Eware. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today.
Crown Prince. All right, distinguished guests, we have a lot of very dear friends of the family. We have Captain Mike Williams. You're very welcome, sir.
Thank you for coming, Captain Noge Megisin.
We have Captain Okunbo Akimbo Johnson.
We also have the distinguished presence of the DG of the NCAA, Captain Chris Najomo.
We'd also like Mr. Osage Okunbo.
And also we have the presence of Chief Julius Rone, a man who only recently signed a historic landmark gas deal with the federal government. Thank you so much for standing with the Okunbo family at this time.
Fantastic. And we'd like to also specially greet media magnates, Mr. Sonny Rabo and Mrs. Betty Rabo. We pay you respects as well, and thank you for your presence at this occasion.
I'd also like to recognize the distinguished presence of Chief Mrs. Folashade Okoya. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming. We're most delighted to have you with us here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, these recognitions will continue as the evening goes on. But we're going to humbly ask that we all settle down. We're going to have Mr. Governor give his keynote address. So we're humbly requesting that we all settle down at this point as we invite someone really special to introduce Mr. Governor. Please, still standing and you can hear my voice. I'm imploring you humbly to please take your seat. This lecture is not over. Thank you. Thank you for your cooperation. The President spoke about the power of cooperation, and so I am imploring for your cooperation as you please take your seats so we can proceed with the lecture.
All right, thank you very much. Whilst we anticipate all our distinguished guests taking their seats, we'd like to move on very quickly with the order of today's lecture. And at this point, we'd like to make very welcome to the stage a woman who needs no introduction. Recently, she went viral for the right reasons. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, she is the founder and managing partner at the very successful Arua Capital Management, and also a proud daughter of her daddy, Captain Hosa. Please let's make welcome Mrs. Adesua Rhodes.
We're welcoming Mrs. Adesua Rhodes. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, please settle down. Thank you.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here with us as we honor our father. So it's my honor to introduce a man that needs very little introduction in this room, His Excellency Prince Dr. Dapio Abiodun, the Executive Governor of Ogun State. Your Excellency, we are deeply grateful that you are here. We know what a demanding office you hold and that your diary rarely belongs to you. So the fact that you have made time to stand with our family today, 5 years on, is something that we will not forget. Thank you very much. My father believed in service. I always say that he always said, no work, no chop. He believed in enterprise. He believed in strength and leadership. So it's very fitting that a leader who carries everything that my father stood for is here with us today and is going to speak with us. On a personal note, I remember coming to visit His Excellency in London when he was in the hospital with my father in London. And I know how worried my father was then, so I know that you held a very special place in his heart, and I know you had a very special bond, so thank you so much for being here. I also want to thank my auntie, the First Lady of Ogun State, Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, who has been very supportive of me over the last 5 years. Every message, every checkup has meant a lot, so thank you so much. Thank you for being here and also standing with us at this time. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please join me in welcoming His Excellency, the Executive Governor, Prince Dr. Dapo Abiodun, to give his goodwill remarks. Please stand.
This is not working. Thank you. Before I make my very short remarks, permit me to appreciate a few of those who have come from far and near to be part of this celebration of life, of purpose, of legacy, and of enduring impact. We just listened to a very remarkable lecture by a truly remarkable woman, an outstanding inspiration for womanhood, the first female woman president on the continent of Africa, former president of Liberia, Her Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Permit me to appreciate and recognize my leaders that are here. His Excellency Senator Ali Modu Sharif, the former governor of Borno State. My political mentor, he brought me into politics in the early 90s. My leader, my chairman, the man who God used to make me governor of Ogun State, His Excellency Distinguished Senator Adams Oshiomhole. The Deputy Governor of Edo State, Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa, my wife and First Lady of Ogun State, Her Excellency Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun. Our Olori, as we call it in Yoruba land, our queen, daughter of our brother and friend, I want to appreciate you and the way you've continued to carry on with dignity and purpose, representing not just your family, but the entire people of Warri. I want to appreciate and recognize the spouses of our late brother, Mrs. Evelyn Okunbo, Mrs. Nusa Okunbo, all other members of that family. Permit me to use my son, Osahon, as a point of courtesy in appreciating all the children and their spouses. All our numerous friends that are here this afternoon. Too many to individually recognize. Captains of industries across the entire country and, of course, the entire world. Permit me to use Tayo Ayeni, another very good friend of Captain Osa, as a point of courtesy in appreciating all the friends of our departed brother. Again, I want to thank Her Excellency for that very remarkable lecture. For me, I took away quite a bit. I took away faith, holding on to faith, perseverance, living a life of value. And she said something. She said, build bridges even where there are walls. And one of the last things she said was, she encouraged us to continue to dream. She said, if your dreams don't scare you, then they are not good enough. These are words on marble. We're here today in honor of the life, the legacy, and enduring impact of a truly dear brother and friend, Captain Idahosa Wells Okunbo. Born 17th January 1958, called home 8th August 2021. I would like to recall how my paths crossed with our captain in the mid-90s, when we were all still hustling and living in Ikeja. The likes of Tayo Ayeni, Greg Nwasiri, Benga Demulegun, and so many others that are here today. Captain was a trained pilot. He had just resigned from flying Okada to pursue private business. Then he lived off Towing Street before later moving on to his mansion in Opebi. I lived in Shunibare Estate. Others lived in GRA. Captain was very true and loyal to friendship. Captain was extremely consistent, very dependable, extremely reliable. Captain was someone who was so kind. If Captain had 1,000 naira, he would have given 990 naira before realizing that he only had 10 naira left in his pocket. His giving virtue endeared him to many, and that explains why we have this wide and cross-section of personalities from across the entire country. Captain meant different things to different people. He was a dogged and astute businessman. He was a very successful entrepreneur. He had a very keen nose for good enterprise. But even at that, Captain Osa was a jolly good fellow. I recall with nostalgia the parties that we had way back then in Ikeja. I recall the parties that we had in his house in Houston. I recall Idahosa's wedding in south of France. I recall the wedding in London. I recall our Queen's introduction in Benin. And I recall how much Captain promoted the very rich cultural heritage of Benin people. He even sponsored a video documentary. Captain fought hard for the repatriation of Benin artifacts. Captain was a very passionate and emotional person. He could get angry and start shouting, "Dabs, why would you do that?" He would even bother on crying. For those that know him, he would shed tears. But the next 24 hours, Captain has forgotten all about what happened the day before. He was that forgiving. Captain was God-loving. He was a family man. He loved his home. He loved all his children equally. And even those that he took on, that were not his biological children, Captain had a heart of gold. And I recall that mention that Idahosa made. That was 14 years ago when I had an accident in Abuja. And I had to be flown to London. I remember Captain came to see me before I was evacuated in Abuja. And he was wearing the pajamas. He followed me to the airport. He wanted to get on the plane in his pajamas and follow me on that flight that was taking me to London. Within 24 hours, Captain was in London by my bedside in hospital. Even after he left, he had his driver in London wait on me 24 hours to attend to whatever it was that I needed. That for me remains very unforgettable. Captain was indeed a good man. You know, they say good things and bad things happen to good people. And I think this is a very classic case of a bad thing happening to a good man. You know, in life, they say it's not how well, it's not how long, but how well. I want to recall when Captain shared with me shortly after the Edo elections, and he decided he was going to take a break and go to London. He called me from London and said he was unwell. By the time he finished describing the nature of his ill health, myself and many of his friends were totally heartbroken. But even at that, he was very optimistic. The last time I saw him, gone to visit my late father in Manchester, because I was informed that he was also unwell. I was meant to fly out of Manchester, but I chose to drive from Manchester to London so I could stop by and see Captain, his house in London. We spent quality time together. I didn't realize then that that was the last time I would see Captain alive. Him and my father passed on a week from each other. A week from each other. So the last time I saw Captain alive was also the last time I saw my father alive. And the next time I was shortly towards the tail end of COVID. I'd gone to check on my father, he had then passed, and from then I drove back to Captain's house to commiserate with his children and his wife. Captain definitely lived a life of impact, a life of purpose. And this is time to ask yourself, how will your life be referred to if God calls you home now? I want to thank the children, the wives, all family members for remembering him and celebrating his life and legacy. The Bible says, sweet are the memories of the righteous. On behalf of my family, his friends, the entire government and good people of Ogun State, we pray for the continued repose of Captain's soul. I will pray for the strength for the entire Idahosa Okunbo family. Captain Idahosa lives on. God bless you. God keep you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Please let's continue to clap for His Excellency, the Governor of Ogun State, and a personal friend of Captain Hosa, Prince Dr. Dapo Abiodun CON, for that heartwarming, reflective speech, goodwill message, and of course, paying tribute to a man whose legacy will never die. We're so grateful. Thank you for bringing us those personal anecdotes and some of the experiences that you had with Captain Hosa whilst he was with us.
That was truly heartfelt. Thank you so much, Mr. Governor. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're still honoring the memory of Captain Idahosa Wells Okunbo, and we have a couple of things that we want to do now, but just before we do that...
Yes, we'd like to continue with acknowledgements. Again, like we mentioned earlier on, we'll be going through acknowledgements throughout the course of today's lecture. And at this point, we'd like to recognize the presence of the Ohai Vare of Benin Kingdom, Chairman Ijensha Energy. Please let's make him feel very welcome.
Yes, we can make that round of applause loud. I like that Mr. Governor in his speech talked about how Captain Hosa loved art. I don't know, a lot of people might not remember this. The entertainment company co-produced a film, a world-class film at the time, and that talked about the struggles of the Niger Delta. But this is a man who was really passionate about the arts and supported the arts. And I think there's no better way to memorialize him than to have a monument
Absolutely.
Established in his honor. And today we're going to have that unveiling. Is that right, Ayo?
Yes, indeed. And to do this, we'd like to invite the children of Captain Hosa to kindly come forward. They put this in honor and in grand memory of their most beloved father. So please, can we ask the children of Captain Hosa Okunbo to please come forward?
Can we put our hands
and
together?
Can we please ask other family members as well, as His Excellency Prince Abiodun said, that Captain Hosa was a family man to the very core. And so we'd like to ask family members, I believe his siblings are here, men and women whom he invested very much in. Mrs. Nosa Okunbo, can we please have Mrs. Evelyn Okunbo as well join us on stage as we unveil this.
You're struggling to keep the cat in the bag.
Yes, that's why I kept quiet. It was the cliffhanger.
We want the family to unveil it themselves. Well, we've teased it already.
This ...
Yes, and we're going to hand the microphone over to our Queen Consort, Olori Atuwashe III, who will speak and then introduce what we're about to watch.
Yes.
We'll just wait for all of us to come up. Thank you all so much. You see, my father was a blessing and a gift that God gave to this world. Those of us who knew him to be remarkable. But it was only after his passing that we understood fully what a treasure walked amongst us. His life was a library of lessons. As Osaho said it, I think if my father lived in another life, it would be a teacher, because his life taught us lessons on resilience, on generosity, on true nobility of heart, on integrity of hard work, and it can go on and on. And so when we asked ourselves how best to honor him, we thought, why not build him something that would keep his memory alive? We didn't just want something that was stagnant. The Bible says that the memory of the righteous is blessed. And so we wanted something that would breathe, something that would teach those in this generation to remember the legacy of a man that walked amongst us. But we also wanted something in the next to help the next generation remember or aspire to become. And so we thought that we would build a living museum, something that would hold his memory, not only to be preserved, but something that when you walk in, you would encounter the person of Captain Hosa. He left us at a young age of 63. I just turned 40, so 63 is officially young. But it was young anyway. But our hope, memory will last many lifetimes. Our prayer is that his grandchildren, and God willing, his great-grandchildren and generations yet unborn will walk through the doors of the museum and will encounter the enigma called Captain Idahosa Wells Okunbo. So we, his children and his family, truly hope that we've done justice to telling his story, the story of a great man. And our deepest desire is that in his story, everyone that walks into the museum will find a piece of their own story. That the young dreamer would find courage, that the weary would find resilience, and that the generous will find a kindred spirit. Captain Idahosa Wells Okunbo was too special to allow the sands of time erase his memory. So we say, let this museum stand as a living reminder that a truly great tree once dwelt in the forest of humanity, and that its fruit continues to feed us all. Enjoy watching. I present to you the Captain Idahosa Wells Okunbo Living Museum.
This museum is housed on his final enterprise. 27 hectares of land called the Wells Hosa Greenhouse Farm is where we are right now. This was where Captain had built his farmhouse where he would retire to. The idea was to come here and live out the rest of his days in retirement and peace and in his farm, which he loved. So when the time came to build a museum in his honor, it made sense to do it right here in the house he built, which ties in with the theme, In My Father's House. It really actually is the Father's house. It is the house of Captain Okunbo. This room was designed to inspire people to live a life so big that one lifetime is not enough. this man is a man who has continued after his passing. We are still celebrating him till now. What it does for me is to ensure I live a life that when I'm done, people still have something to say about the life that I lived. That's what I want everyone who walks in here to feel when they leave, to live better, bigger, brighter. That's what I want. Into one room. Also because Captain had a strong background in real estate, so it wasn't just for beauty, it was as much as I could to represent a part of his life as well. So we have different houses showcasing his journey as you move from the entrance, you move from his public persona into his more private life. So you get to the end of the museum and you are drawn into his life. Personality like his had to be carefully curated. We couldn't just put pictures on the wall. They had to be housed, and there had to be a story that was told. It is a place where many are employed. People come and go. In my time working, come in and go out with produce. It is a flourishing enterprise that has lasted even after his passing on and continues to do so. So we are living in his dream. It continues even after his death.
Can we just celebrate that one more time? Let's thank the family as well. Let's thank the family for presenting. All right, thank you, Sam. Thank you for the music. Olori is not going to sing, so we can. Yes, okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. I have a little surprise for somebody here. Ladies and gentlemen, before we close today's celebration, there is one more thing that the family wishes to bestow on a person that's very dear to our hearts. They say that when a great tree falls, the forest falls in its absence, or the forest feels its absence, my bad. But they also say that a great tree never truly falls. It lives on in the seeds that are planted. Today, I want to honor one of those seeds who has grown into a shelter for the rest of us. When our father went to be with the Lord 5 years ago, we lost a true anchor of our family. And yet in the days that followed, the days of grief, of questions, of learning to stand without him, one amongst us quietly stepped into that gap. Not because a title demanded it as a first son, but because love did. Osaho, you have kept our father's spirit alive in the truest way that it can be kept. Not in the businesses, and you've done well. Not in the monuments, but in the daily generosity of your heart. You have carried his open hand. Thank you. You have carried his open door policy, and you've carried his open heart. You have been a father to many of us, a covering to this family, and a living reminder that Daddy's greatest legacy was never meant to be built, like you said. It was who he loved and how he loved. And so, on behalf of the entire family, we have something that we want to present to you. But before we present it to you, we want to call on a couple of us to come and give the testimony of Osaho's exemplary leadership of the family over the last 5 years.